We ready? Start. People talk about the public sector and the private sector. Does the House realize that the biggest and the overwhelming part of the private sector is the private sector of the peasants in India? That is the real private sector in our country, not the few factories we have. There is much discussion about the public sector and the private sector. I said the other day and have said it more than once that I attach great importance to the public sector. The pattern of society that we look forward to is a socialist pattern of society which is classless, casteless, so far as the Congress is concerned. For a long time past, it has laid down its objective as a casteless, classless society, which obviously can be attained only in a socialistic pattern. But I would beg of you not to imagine that because socialism conceives of nationalized industry, therefore you must have all industry nationalized. I think that as the socialist pattern grows, there is bound to be more and more nationalized industry, but what is important is not that there should be an attempt to nationalize everything, but that we should aim at the ultimate result, which is higher production and employment. If by taking any step you actually hinder the process of production and employment from growing, then that does not lead you to the socialistic pattern. In a country like India, where money trained personnel and experience are lacking, we have to take advantage of such experience, training and money as we have. We want to make this business of building up India a cooperative enterprise of all the people. We try to avoid conflicts and try to avoid taking steps which have a chilling effect on this pattern. We want to go ahead in regard to production and employment. That is the vital thing. And in order to attain that, we have to create the right atmosphere and encourage initiative. In regard to the public and the private sector, it is obvious that with the limited resources we have in the hands of the state, we cannot do all that we want to do at the present moment. We shall of course try to do as much as we can, but some people suggest that we must prevent the private sector from functioning in the field of industries. I think such an idea comes from confused thinking. I do not understand this attitude. I want a socialist society in India. I want to get out of this framework of an acquisitive society, but I am not giving to get it by merely passing resolutions, etc. Para. Yesterday I had the honor to present a resolution before you, which you passed. In it, we stated that we wanted it to be clearly understood that we aim at a socialistic pattern of society. In that resolution, which deal with the economic policy, we have to give effect to that decision of yours, because ultimately it is the economic policy which is going to shape that picture of India which you call the socialistic pattern. This resolution is therefore of the highest importance. Para. In a resolution of this kind, however long drawn out it might be, one cannot enter into the details of policies. There is a danger in such resolutions, and that is what you may use striking words and vague phrases and imagine that you have given a great lead to the country. That does not help us because we have to solve the problems of India. How to deal with those problems is itself a problem. The problems of unemployment and of raising the level of our people are not solved by broad decisions or slogans. I say this without any disrespect to those who wield striking words, because I myself have been a wielder of words all my life, drafting resolutions, getting them passed, and so on. But a time comes when you have to forget words and deal with hard actualities. This applies more especially to congressmen because they have much more responsibility than others in running the government and deciding the government's policy. For us merely to write resolutions is not good enough. What then must we do? The only thing to be done is to sit down and draw up a plan, a detailed plan. That is the function of the planning commission and the government and of those whom they consult. Obviously, a Congress session cannot sit down and draw up a 5-year plan, but in a resolution of this kind, we have to indicate the type of thinking needed in drawing up that plan. This resolution contains a brief reference to the objective to be achieved. First of all, after expressing appreciation of what has been done, the resolution says that the time has now come for substantially increasing production, for raising the standards of living, and for having progressively fuller employment so as to achieve full employment within a period of 10 years in the Congress. Stop.